Hello, welcome in. How's it going, Dion? Welcome in. So we are on Vicky's phone today, Vicky's old phone. For some reason, the 3 cell phones I use for streaming are all dead. So we're charging. It's been one of those days. Hey, Kathleen, how's it going? So I'm definitely getting on the lathe today, but I want to get some stuff cut out. I am a little under the weather today, but I got up, walked to work. I made fried rice for breakfast. We had some leftover rice yesterday from the stir fry. Yeah, I'm coming down with something. I don't know what it is. Yeah, I was really restless last night. I ended up sleeping on the couch. So, in hopes that Vicky could at least get a good night's sleep. How do you balance these? It's part of the sanding process. Like top rolls, I can add weights to them, where Turkish you really can't. So the whole balancing is removing material. You have a choice of removing material or adding material. So as far as the procedure goes, that's a secret. It's the secret sauce. So I can say that each arm is balanced individually. So if they're way off, Vicky will set them aside for me to deal with. She is. She came in at. I got here a little after 6. She got here probably about 8:30. So yeah, so she was actually awake this morning when I walked to work. So she worked out at home and then came to work. So it's kind of nice. She brought a bunch of food and stuff. Um, I bought a ring light yesterday at the thrift store. It's a big 16-inch light. That's what's casting all these shadows. So I threw that in the car, and somehow I didn't want to walk with it. I thought that would look a little suspicious. Did you remember the cheese this time?
No? Cheese. No,
Did-
forgot the cheese.
What?
Did I remember the cheese this time? I didn't.
Well, there's nothing with cheese, so
Right? And
we.
it was for the. But we had pepper jack.
But we had pepper jack, and we did have cheese here.
Yeah.
Hello, welcome in.
I do, but I forget.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 9 a.m. here. I think Dion is 16 or 18 hours difference. Grilled cheese does sound delicious. Yeah, so for lunch, I did tofu steaks and I fried up some onions and portobello mushrooms and a bell pepper. It's actually pretty good. 13. Hey Vicky, Kathleen says hi. Kathleen says hi. Yes. She says hi back. She's not mic'd up today. The microphone just, I don't know, it just didn't kind of work out yesterday.
Right. Yeah, I gotta focus on an update, so I'm kind of running around trying to. Trying to,
Get shit together, yeah.
cherry picking spindles. I'm like, here, let's put this up. So,
Yeah, tofu's not so bad.
it really isn't. I'm surprised how much we like it.
Yeah, it's all right. All right, we're gonna swap the blades out. She's feeling enthusiastic today. Yes. Yeah. Well, it's Friday, so it's update day. So she's finding a bunch of different things to list and put up in the update. Hey Caleb, how's it going? Welcome in. Hey man, welcome back. How many shafts do I need to turn today? Probably in the 40 to 50 range. I cut out all those standards yesterday, and they all need shafts. So we'll see. I thought I'd start out just kind of relaxing. I've got probably 40 here, so we'll probably cut for an hour. See how far we get. We got some Cadillacs to cut, so this is Mexican ebony. So we'll cut that out in a little bit. So right now we've got some bird's eye maple that we're doing. Back in the lounge. Nice. It's going to be a very laid back day today. What's my work schedule? I'm going to work probably, well, I've been here about 3 hours already. Plan on cutting probably for an hour, and then we're going to go onto the lathe and probably do another hour to 2 on there. And then probably spend the remainder of the day. I'm probably going to, take a break and have lunch, take an hour or whatever, and then back to work, probably work till about 5 p.m., so. We'll work on the lathe as long as we can, and if my feet get tired and I need to sit down, we'll come back here and cut more stuff out. So yeah, this is bird's eye maple. You can actually see we're cutting through a few bird's eyes. So this is our smallest spindle that we make as far as Turkish go. Since they're so small, please assemble one. All right. So we got this cut. I'll go grab a shaft for it. But since they're the smallest ones, if we got, just little bits of wood or whatever, we tend to have a lot of these. So this is a 4 1/4 inch shaft, hard maple as well. So just go on there. So this one is ready for sanding and balancing. Yeah, but we don't have to run errands today or anything. We don't got to go to the post office, so. Oh yeah, that Diamond is just gorgeous. It's a shame it's so expensive. So yeah, tomorrow if I come in, if I'm feeling a little bit better, I'm going to be working on cutting out parts for the segmented bowls. Maybe I'll turn some smaller bowls. How do I balance it? It's a secret. So what we do is, sorry, I dropped a piece on the floor. I see it. I'm like, the floor is relatively clean. So when we spin it, if there's vibration in it, you can feel which side is heavier. I have a jig that I use with it, which will point out where it is heavy. And then we just sand a little extra off that area, depending where it is. So we'll sand the whole thing, get all smooth, and then we'll start spinning it. And if it's out of balance, we'll take more material off. You know, if this side's too heavy, we'll take a little bit off this side, or it might be on the side here, or on the top and bottom, you know, same thing. But it might be on the left or the right side too. So it's a process. It's the only thing we really don't show because, you know, it's kind of the secret sauce. So like on the top roll spindles, I will add weight. I will put nails, finishing nails. It's called pin balancing, so I'll add weight to them. Kind of a lot like if you have your tire balanced on your car, you add weight to it to even it out. But with like the Turkish, there's really no good spot to put a weight on it. It would stick out like a sore thumb. Same with the supported spindles. If they're out of balance, I will remove weight. Sand a little extra here, a little extra there. Yeah. Hey, XP. Yeah. These are tiny. But the good news is, the worst case scenario is I would go put a Band-Aid on it. If it was really bad, I would just put some super glue on it and then put a Band-Aid on it. What wood do I use for this? We're currently using maple, but I use a lot of hardwoods. So today we have some Cadillacs. This is Mexican ebony that we're going to be cutting out. And then I got some walnuts. So this is quilted maple. So you can kind of see just how everything's kind of running together. This is somewhat curly maple. And then we got a piece of bird's eye here. So you can see the little dots. And another piece of bird's eye maple. Yeah, we got some pretty stuff today. You know, we're kind of making a lot of like cherry, maple, and walnut standards, kind of the lower price stuff. But if we look at the wood up here, ash is domestic. Then the tiger maple and the bird's eye. This is some of the Dymalux. Then we got the Mexican ebony. We got some African Paduke. Some Purple Heart. This is Bacote, which is one of my favorite woods. It comes from Mexico. I'm not sure how far down it goes, probably into Central America. We got some Red Heart, some Leopard Wood, some Canary Wood. I like cutting canary. It smells really nice. It's kind of, it's hard to explain. It's kind of like sweet tarts and buttered popcorn. A lot of woods don't smell good. This one does. We got some walnut, some Bolivian rosewood, more Bolivian rosewood, some Osage orange. So this stuff grows down in the south in Texas and into Mexico. Then we got some white wenge. This is also called yaya wood. A little bit of Brazilian cherry. And I don't cut a lot of oak, but this is curly white oak. So once you get that sanded, it's just gorgeous. So we do have some exotics. We don't have a whole ton right now, but we're doing pretty good. And then the thicker stuff is for, this is, all the stuff up top is a 1/2 inch thick. And then down here is 5/8. So this is some genuine mahogany. We got some ash and walnut and cherry and a lot of the more common stuff, the domestic stuff. So, hello, Pixel, how's it going? So that's what we got so far as the wood goes. So we'll probably go to the mill probably in a couple weeks. Hey, not a problem. Yeah, walnut's nice. The stuff I get is not steamed. A lot of times they'll steam the walnut to get the sapwood to be darker, so it looks more like the heartwood. Yeah, walnut is just, there's a huge spectrum. I'm doing good. A little under the weather, but what are you gonna do? I'm at work, I'm making product, I'm hanging out with people. Pretty good day. You know, and anytime you can get out of bed and get to work is an okay day. I was a 1/2 heartbeat away from just calling it, being like, I haven't had a day off in like a month. My boss is a jerk. Sucks being self-employed. Yeah, so we're getting ready for some festivals. We got 3 festivals coming up, so we're gonna need product. Okay, we'll cut out one more mini. So yeah, this is hard maple. So on the weekends, yeah, so this is me and my girlfriend do this for a living. So she does not come in on the weekends, so I can do the really messy stuff or work with materials where you need to wear a respirator, do all the gross stuff. Right, honey?
Sure.
Exactly. Did you fire up the CNC machine? Actually, yesterday I did not. So after the stream, I started feeling pretty gross. So after the post office, we ran some errands and we just went home. So I only worked like 8 hours yesterday. So we are making drop spindles that are used to spin yarn. So this is the Turkish style. So we're just kind of hanging out on the scroll saw. All right. So I think we're going to start out cutting the Mexican ebony. It's going to be hell on the blade, but the blade is relatively sharp right now. Hey, G, how's it going? Welcome in. Stuff is pretty. So we'll peel the pattern off. So we're testing out some inexpensive blue painter's tape. It's a little stretchy, but it seems to be holding well. So sometimes when you start using inexpensive tapes, they'll tend to peel up. But so far, so good. All right. So I'm verifying that my holes are centered. So we're just running a rat-tailed bastard file through. So I store these on a dowel, and I have a little stopper there, And then I have holes in my bench. I got a 2x4 with a bunch of holes, so I can just set that in there. It keeps everything together. So this wood is very, very hard. It's very dense. So they actually use this wood in high-end acoustic guitars as well. I've seen acoustic guitars that have book-matched backs with this stuff, so some of it has really cool grain, and by book matching it, you take a piece, you saw it in half, and then you put the two halves together, and then it will have mirror images on either side. Hey Clash, how's it going? Yeah, once this gets sanded, it's gonna be gorgeous. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful day. So today we're going to have a high of 84. It's currently 73. We don't have air conditioning in the workshop, so lots of fans. So I have to remember to bring my sweatshirts home today. Today wasn't so bad, but it's been getting a little bit cooler in the morning. So I walk to work, I wear my sweatshirt, and then it's so hot by the time I leave my sweatshirt here. So I think I've got like 4 sweatshirts here. All right. So I'm going to take this piece here, and we're just going to cut it in this region here. I'm not sure why she skipped this area. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Man, it's like cutting rock. So when you're cutting something like this that's very hard, you have to take your time. It's really easy to force it. But when you start forcing things, it's such a small blade that you can tweak the blade and then you're not going to cut square anymore. So if we line it up, we're cutting square. It's just something you have to keep an eye on. So I'm cutting with a number 7 blade. This is an Olsen Precision Ground Tooth blade. So it's a modified geometry blade. It's a double skip tooth. They're an expensive blade, but they are very aggressive. So. All right, we have 5 more to cut of these. And then we'll get to some easier cutting wood. Hello. How's Cardis doing today? Yeah, so we're just chilling on the scroll saw. We got about 15 minutes, 20 minutes before we go on to the lathe. So we're probably going to go back and forth today. I'm doing pretty good. I'm coming down with something. I'm a little under the weather today, but well enough to keep working. Hey, Paul. Four Leaf. Cleo, how's it going? Welcome in. So we are cutting Mexican ebony, otherwise known as Cadillacs. It's a very pretty wood, but it's also very, very hard to cut. Lemonade is great for fighting off illnesses. Good to know. Pattern off. All right, we got three. This is a medium glider. It's just the model, and then this is a mini glider. So yeah, my gliders come in 3 different sizes. Well, 4 if you count the flying spindle, but. Thought I heard knocking. Nothing, I thought I heard knocking. Oh, okay. Vitamin C and zinc. Okay, good. I'm sorry to hear that, Anthony. Oh, yeah. It's weird how those things tend to, compile on themselves. Sorry for your loss, man. It's hard. That would make sense. Give yourself some time. You'll know when you're ready to get back, that's for sure. Hey Dev, welcome in. Mark, welcome in as well. So if you guys are just tuning in, we are cutting out Turkish style drop spindles for spinning yarn. In a little bit, we're going to be heading over to the lathe. We're going to be making the shafts for them. So there's an example of one that needs sanding and balancing and everything, but at least that's what they look like. So we have one more of the Mexican ebony to go yet. Well, I hope you hear back from them soon. Oh, there's 2 left. Dang it. I thought we were getting there. That Cadillac you laid out yesterday, honey, it is blown through an entire blade.
Oh, I'm sure.
Oh, that stuff is hard.
Yeah.
Normally I get at least an hour out of a blade, and yeah. Yeah, I'm one of those people with grief. I kind of work my way through grief. Ignore it as long as possible. Work, work, work. Ooh, Fleet Farm has weekend deals, honey. All right. I don't even think we buy anything from Menards anymore. Hey, Carla. Welcome in. Yeah. I mean, we used to get our cat litter from Fleet Farm, but we get that from Walmart now. Hey, 4808. How's it going? Welcome in. All right, we got one more Mexican ebony one to cut. And then we'll, maybe we'll cut some walnut. Take a break. It's probably the softest stuff we have out here. That and some, no, we don't have any cherry. It's all maple. How often do we go live? Usually it's 2 to 3 times a week. This week, it's been like every day for the last 3 days, 4 days. So I really don't have a set schedule or a set time. Like right now, it's 10 o'clock in the morning for me. Sometimes I won't start until the afternoon as well. So the best way to catch me is to give me a sub and click the bell so you get notified. Right now we're in our busy season. So the whole idea with this channel was to do beginner like woodworking projects, scroll saw projects, to give back. I've been scroll sawing since '87, so. But now that we're in our busy season, it's kind of hard to justify taking the time to make a video that literally hundreds of people will see. It's all about the love of streaming and hanging out. Yeah. So, the spindle here, when it's done, will be worth more than I make in a month on YouTube. So. All right, now I got 5/8 of an inch thicker. This is walnut. Hey D, welcome in. Yep, so this is black walnut. Once I put a finish on it, it'll get really dark. This is a very common tree where we live. Walnut trees are pretty, but they kill everything around it. So if you have a garden, you don't want it anywhere near a black walnut tree, or your lawn is going to look like garbage because the tree is going to kill the grass. I mean, the squirrels appreciate the walnuts, that's for sure. Hey, Happy, how's it going? Welcome in. All right. Let's cut a few more, and then we'll jump over on the lathe. Just not ready to get up yet. Oh, yeah. It feels like my hands are stained just thinking about getting the walnuts out. Let's see here. Pine is the same way. Curious if it's a soft wood. The same. Pine is the same way. Curious if it's a soft wood trait. I guess I'm a little lost, which happens. I tend to ramble a lot, so I don't necessarily remember what I just said. It's a me thing. Kills everything that grows. Yeah. Yeah. But with like pine trees, it's usually directly underneath the tree. With black walnuts, it kills everything like as far as the roots go out. And, a lot of people don't want to deal with black walnut trees in town as far as making them into lumber, just because urban trees tend to have a lot of metal in them. I've heard people just talking and, I can guarantee you there's not any nails in there. I never put a nail there in my life. And I'm thinking, yeah, but you weren't around when Timmy lost his puppy in 1942 and nailed up a flyer for that. So the blades that are used to process lumber are very expensive. Oh, we were at Harbor Freight the other day, just walking around, and on the closeout pile, as they were selling, and they do wear out quickly, yes. And it's a battle. Yes?
You
Yes.
Can I stain?
Absolutely.
Do you want to do 3 stains or just the 2?
Whatever you want to do. It doesn't matter.
All right. And just the thicker ones, leave the, if there's any variation over there, I don't have to.
You don't have to do those, no. You know, honestly, if you're going to be listing them, I mean, just do like 1 or 2 of each. It really doesn't matter.
Okay. All right. And then I figured we'll just take whatever we have. Well, that's whatever we want.
Yeah, I plan on making more. It's just everything's about time.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah. All right, I think we're gonna walk over to the lathe and start making some shafts. That sounds like fun. Yeah, it's like you have multiple blades and you always have one on the sharpener. Yeah, but if you hit a chunk of metal, that blade is toast. All right. Yeah, they're a lot of fun. They really are. Let me grab my charging cable real quick. I don't know why I say real quick. I'm gonna take my time. Make sure I'm charging, which I am. All right. Get the extractor going. All right, so we're turning hard maple. Yeah, I mean, I was having to replace these like every year and a half because they would just stop working. So yeah, I just sealed it in the bag. So now we don't got to worry about it. Yeah, dust is a huge issue in this shop. It's a constant struggle. Usually with toothpicks, you got to start out with a log about that big around. Bring it down to one toothpick. Like, how many Egyptians does it take to screw in a light bulb? Alright. Hey, Ann, how's it going? It is a fun fact. So we're going to switch over and get some new paper. Yes, today is much less testicle-driven conversations. So we got like 3 dozen arms that need shafts. Alright. So yes, this is hard maple. I ordered these oversized so I can true them up. So these are coming out of a machine. They're not really being inspected. So they're not going to be perfectly straight. So since they're bigger, I can start out with my roughing gouge and start bringing the diameter down a little bit. So I'm using the wrench as a caliper. So if the wrench slips over, we're on size. Now I've got lines drawn. Not very good lines. So this marks the bottom of the spindle, the end of the taper, and then the end of the spindle. That's how it's going to sit. going to stick with the roughing gouge, get the diameter down. Switch to the spindle gouge. Another wrench as a caliper. I'm going to shut the lathe off, and I'm going to take the tailstock off while it's still turning. See there? Looks good. A little bit of vibration. Not too much. By the time we bring the diameter down, it should be fine. This is a story stick. Just has lines. I'm just transferring the lines I need over. And I made a cutout in here so I can register it against my test whirl here. That way they're all going to be sitting in the same location. So I'm going to start stacking them up. Now this is a beading tool. It's just a V-shaped scraper. I'm going to come in here and just lay in the beads. So we're making Turkish style drop spindles. Aha! Alright, got that line's burned. Turn the speed down a little bit, we'll sand it out. Turn the speed back up. Now we're going to burnish. We're going to take some wood chips. There's a whole bunch of different type of spindles. They vary in size quite a bit. So yeah, this is like much smaller than like a Navajo spindle. Those things are huge. But you know, this is bigger than like a Tockley spindle used for cotton. So it's kind of in between size. So the big difference with the Turkish style, it's a low whirl spindles. This is it's paste wax. I've used beeswax in the past too. Beeswax mixed with a little bit of mineral oil, heated up. But yeah. So yeah, this is hard maple. I take care, yeah. That's exactly what I'm doing. It never changes size, you know? That's the big thing. Now, if it was something larger, I'd be using like this style caliper. The problem with these are if you're touching the wood, they vibrate. And if it vibrates over time a little bit, it'll change size. So you're always having to go and recalibrate these to make them the right size. Hello! Hey, welcome in. You know, I wouldn't use a huge wrench, but these smaller ones I don't have an issue with. So this is ready for sanding and balancing and finishing. So because the spindle is 3 parts, we keep them together. Back just a little bit more. And a little bit more. I thought we could sand. Apparently we're just gonna have to hit it with the spindle gouge. Yep, so my gauge here, my jig, is made out of Argentina ligamente. So it's also called Vera wood. It's a very, very, very hard wood. So if I were to use a softer wood, over time I would be basically reaming out this hole, and it would be getting bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden, my spindles would be shifting. grab a fan. It's already getting a little warm in here. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. Sorry about that. All right, so I'm gonna form the finial on the top, and because we have a 4-jaw chuck, I'll be able to back the tailstock off. We'll be okay. Hey Fernando, how's it going? Hey B, how you doing today? Welcome back. So we're making shafts for all the standards that we cut out yesterday. Got more studying to do? Yeah. Hey Scorpion, how's it going? But studying's important, otherwise you might end up having to do this. Good to hear. Yeah, I'm a little quiet today. I'm not feeling all that great. But we're gonna get some stuff done. I don't know why you're watching either. It's relaxing. It's the original ASMR without all the clicking and clacking and trying to sound like the narrator on Sex and the City. Yeah, so I've been making these full time for a little over 13 years. There you go. The scroll saw work can give you time for your brain to absorb all the studying you did. Yes. They're for folks who like spinning yarn, yeah. Some people call you Flip. That's a good name. Like Wilson? Yep, so I primarily make a lot of stuff for fiber artists. Awesome. Yeah, so the channel, we tend to do projects. I do some review videos as well. But there's a lot of like beginner to intermediate like scroll saw projects. Some lathe stuff too. Works for me. I thought the Flip Wilson comment was a little that was before my time, you know? So my burning wire just broke, which is not a big deal. So I'm using picture frame hanging wire. So I'll take 2 strands and then ply it together. You remember Flip Wilson, even though we were born in 72? Yeah, I was born in 75. But yeah, you know, he, comedian. He had his own show. Yeah. A lot of people use guitar strings. I just have a ton of this wire. So what I'll do is I'll use this section right here until it breaks. And then I'll just keep moving the handle down until it's about that long and then replace it. So I basically made a garrote, and then I have a magnet on it so I can stick it to the lathe so I don't lose it. Now we're just adding some wax. This is paste wax. So these little pieces, I will make a smaller shaft out of these, so they don't go to waste. So each one of these I'll get 2 shafts out of. Or if they're too short, they'll go in the fireplace in the winter. So yeah, so I'm using just good old paste wax. So I keep it in a metal tin here so I can keep it from drying out. So I'll keep this sealed. Worst case scenario, if I forget to close that, you know, I'll get a little bit that's hard. I don't mind most of the solvent flashing off. All right, sounds good. Yeah, I'm a crocheter myself. Well, that's one way to get a new piece of sandpaper. Yep, so we are currently building up inventory for some fiber shows. I probably would. I'm not that way. I get called a unicorn quite a few times at shows. And if anybody ever says anything, I'm always like, you know, it hasn't gotten in the way. I haven't crocheted or knitted myself into it, so. Oh, yeah. You know, the whole fiber art scene is very inclusive. I mean, there's bad characters everywhere, but, you know, for the most part. Oh, there's nothing wrong with knitting. Hell no. It's a good stress reliever, that's for sure. The way it should be, you know? You know, if you knit, it lowers your chance of getting dementia, too. Well, my mommy taught me how to crochet. She didn't teach me how to knit. Now, my son learned how to crochet from his mom's aunt, who used to watch him. He is prolific. He is fast. He's a very fast crocheter. So my mom told me a story. That her aunt tried to teach her how to. I'm trying to think. I think it was bobbin lace. My mom just couldn't figure it out, so her aunt gave up on her. No, it was tatting. It was tatting. So after I'm done sanding it, the wood chips I use to burnish, so it polishes the wood. So my mom was like really impressed when I was bob and tatting in front of her. But yeah, these days I do more spinning than anything else, obviously. So I believe I have all the Turkish spindles done for the first show. So Wisconsin sheep and wool, I'm done cutting them out. They're not all sanded and finished yet, but they're cut out. So I believe these are going to be going to California. So these are going to be for Lambstown. So I'm going to try to get all 3 shows worth of Turkish spindles done probably in about the next 3 weeks. And then it'll give me a few weeks to focus on making top whirl spindles and some more supported spindles. And then between, so support spindles you put in a bowl rather than dangle in the air. Let me grab one. For lunch today, it's going to be that tofu stir fry that I made for dinner last night. We had enough for today too, so I'll warm that up. So it'll be relatively quick. Vicky forgot the gazpacho, but we'll have that tonight again. So this is a support spindle, so it goes in a bowl. So you set it in the bowl and then you spin it to put the twist in while it's in a bowl. So this is good for very short staple lengths like cotton, or if you're spinning really, really, really thin, because then the weight of the spindle is out of the equation. Where like the Turkish that we're making, will dangle in midair. So you have the gravity and the weight of the spindle pulling it down. So I thought I'd bring a top whirl here. So the top whirl, you spin off the hook on the top, and then you store the yarn around the shaft. So you'll have this dangling midair as well. These all make yarn. There's just different ways of doing it. And a lot of it is personal preference too, so. Yeah, I could feel the vibration when I was cutting that. So instead of making a 7-inch shaft, it's got quite a bit of vibration on the end. We'll make it into a 6-inch. So we'll still get a shaft out of it. So wood's a natural material, obviously. There's a lot of internal stresses you can't see, so they're not all going to turn out. Even if you do everything right, they're not all going to turn out. You know, and I really feel blessed that, you know, me and Vicky can work together and not kill each other. Because with Vicky's degree in forensic science, she'll probably get away with killing me. Just saying. You work with metal lathes, crazy, scary, and dangerous work. Oh yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is a wood lathe. So it's belt driven. It's not gear driven. And since I'm making really, really thin spindles, I do have to do a lot of support. I mean, for something this big, there's no way of putting a steady rest on here. So yeah, this one application is awfully touchy. Right now we're running at 3,629 RPM. Which is the max speed of this lathe. When you're using small diameters, you can get away with the speed. So I see we just got a message. We did a team for Tour de Fleece. So basically, Tour de Fleece happens at the same time as the Tour de France, right? So every day the bicycle races, people spin yarn, and they have contests. So one of the people who had the longest yardage, they won a spindle, and I sent it to them, and I just got a notification that they got it. So yeah, well, this is already round, so it's not going to be a very splintery ordeal. Well, these hands have been crocodile rocking, so. It's the power of neuropathy at work. Yeah, so we'll go from, 36, well, right now, there you go, 3,600 RPM to 0 in like a tenth of a second. All right. This is our last maple one. Then we have walnut and a bunch of cherry. Plus we have to make shafts for that Mexican ebony we cut out. So, yeah, this Cadillac's, it's gorgeous. Tiny table legs. Miniature magic wands. The cats are amazing. Cats are doing good. I slept on the couch last night, and our big boy Jordy usually sleeps on the couch, so he was a little miffed that I laid down on the couch with him. And yeah, Luna's good. She is a crazy girl. So yeah, I have two gray tabbies. Jordy's a big boy. He's probably 20 pounds. Luna's normal cat size. She's also a great tabby, but she's got more red in her. Really pretty cat. And she came with the name, so I would have named her Normal. Yeah, it's funny because Jordy will sleep with us during the winter, but during the summer he avoids the bedroom like the plague. Except for in the mornings, he wants to sneak in and wake Vicky up because she feeds him. He's a big boy, yeah. I mean, but how can't you love that chub? Yeah. When he sleeps on me, he sleeps on me. Look at that. Nah, he's a mama's boy. I'm second best. Unless I have treats, then I'm awesome. You know, I kind of figured when Luna got fixed, she'd be really, really big. That hasn't happened. She's still rather thin. So, I guess it's just the boys become eunuchs. Yeah. Catnip dispenser on the hip. I need to get a new laser pointer for them. But Luna gets very, very obsessed with the laser pointer. She understands what it is and what it does. Yes, they finally caught it. This is a video of a cat who catches a laser pointer and eats it. I'm gonna have to get some contact cleaner. My on and off switch is a little bit temperamental today. Yeah, so I have more material coming to make Russian spindles out of. I'm running out of cherry ones that are made, but the mill just charged me, so they should be in the mail tomorrow. So hopefully beginning of next week we'll have them. So as far as the switch goes, I'll try a contact cleaner cleaning it up. I do have another one of these lathes for parts. A couple years back, there was an electrical issue with it, and I couldn't wait on parts, so I bought another one. So I do have another one for parts. Eventually I'll fix it. see on the end here, not quite straight. Should be all right. So I think I'm going to give the gouges a quick grind, sharpen them up a little bit. I think my skew is still okay. I'm just going to take a Sharpie and just mark the edge. That way when I'm sharpening, I know I'm taking off. I'm actually sharpening it and just not taking off material like on the heel. So I use a slow speed grinder and CBN wheels. This is set to a 45-degree angle. So I've taken off the marker. Do a similar thing with the pencil when you're joining? Yeah. Yeah, when I send things to the drum sander, I'll scribble on them on occasion too. I guess it's more of a drum sander than the drum sander. So, since I'm using CBN wheels to sharpen, they're never going to change size. Like, if you use the normal grinding wheels, the white ones, you know, they're constantly getting smaller because you're wearing the material off. So, since the CBN wheels stay the same size, I can use a jig like this. So you set this in the wheel, then you bring it down, and then it sets the angle. So for the most of the stuff I do is either a 45 or a 25. Now if I'm sharpening tooling that's going to be used for like bowl turning, then you start getting into using other jigs. So rather than setting in a plate, you would use this, you would clamp this in, then you can pivot. So this is a spindle gouge, you can see it's just set down there. It's basically, it's flat, it's just rounded over. Where this bowl gouge, you can see how it's much different shape. Now you can use a bowl gouge for spindle work, but you can't use a spindle gouge for bowl work. So you see the bowl gouge, solid stock here, because it has to deal with a lot of forces. It's a much longer handle too. Where the spindle gouge has like a very small tang that goes into there, which is fine for spindle work, but bowl work, you can break your tooling if you get a catch. So don't use this for bowls. Got some nice texture on that. Oh. So the majority of my tooling is Robert Sorby. So they're made in Sheffield, England. Sheffield is known for their high-speed steel. It holds an edge for a very, very long time. I'm still using a couple Harbor Freight tools as well. If you buy cheap tools, you're going to get really good at sharpening because you're going to be sharpening a lot. So yeah, so it's almost new toy time. Hey, honey. When are we gonna have the CNC machine paid off? Is that next month?
Potentially it'll be this month.
This month?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, hopefully this month the CNC machine will be paid off, and we'll probably do a show in after Wisconsin Sheep and Wool. Then we'll probably add another tool to the shop, right?
Yeah.
I think we're leaning towards an X-Tool F1 Ultra. Got to do a little bit more research. We got a couple X-Tool lasers already, so they're okay.
Yeah, hopefully it goes well.
Yeah. So. All right, I just lost my extractor. I turned it on and then it shut off. I might have killed the switch. Kill the remote. So yeah, that's what we kind of do. Try to only have one new piece of equipment at a time until it's paid off. Unless we need something, you know. Woo! That one's horrible. So I will save this. What I'll use this for is buffing pens. So when you have wooden pens or acrylic pens, I push them on here to buff them on the buffing wheel. So I don't buff my fingers. Although I do get really shiny fingernails if I get too close. So if anybody has any questions, let me know. I can see the chat. So I think we're going to make a couple more, and then we're going to go back onto the scroll saw. I'm going to have to sit down. But we have... This is like 23 for this morning, so it's not so bad. Yeah, so earlier in the year, we did 3 shows back to back to back weekends. And it was just chaos. At least with the 3 shows coming up, we have a couple weeks between them. Otherwise, you just don't bother unpacking the car. You know, prior to the whole online store thing, you know, if I was trying to do this, it would be, you know, work all winter, all spring, and then go to shows throughout the late summer into the fall. Which would be a lot like being a farmer and only getting paid once a year, you know. So now doing shows and festivals is more of staying relevant than having to do them. Hello! Privyet, how's it going, my friend? Welcome in. Alright, we got 3 more cherry ones left, so we'll make 3 more shafts. Then we'll hop over on the scroll saw. Probably walk over to the scroll saw. How's Greg doing today? I'm a little bit under the weather, so I'm not super talkative today. But I'm trying. As long as the wood chips are flying, we really can't complain. Yeah, I figured I'm gonna work till about 12:30. It's, almost 12. Have some lunch, maybe take a nap. Yeah, last night I just couldn't get comfortable and I gave up, kept rolling around, and I want to keep Vicky up, so I slept on the couch. So we are making Turkish style drop spindles today. For spinning yarn. Yep. So it's a little autopilot today, which is all right. Here we go. So this is what they look like. Still needs to be sanded and balanced, but yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'd be very scared to send these out and have them made on a CNC machine somewhere. Because these have to be straight. If I was making a honey dipper, then you could send that out and have that made on a CNC machine. But something like this, it has to be perfect. So you'd spend the money to have them made, and then you'd have to test every one of them. I'd rather do it this way. Well, that's just it. You know, I check them while I'm making it. So if there's vibration, I'll make them into a shorter one. Otherwise, it would just be garbage. Hello, welcome in. Is it Narish? Welcome. Hey, Carpenter, how's it going? And I'm kind of built for production work, so I'm all right. A little under the weather, coming down with something. So worst case scenario, maybe I'll take tomorrow off. So we're gonna hop over to the scroll saw. Hop on pop. Definitely time to sit down, so. Yeah. It'll be much better once it's balanced. But when they're pretty balanced to begin with. Can't you just hook it on the outside there?
No, it's too thick.
Oh, that sucks.
I know.
Well, we
right?
could run a line, so.
I just figured it's a little less humid up here than it is down
Yeah, it would. I get you. I sprayed in the back room and then I hung it on nails in the back, but I only had one, so it's not.
Yeah, I'm like this close to going, okay, maybe we should pick up some curtains and
Right.
whatever. Throw one of the air conditioners off. You know, we're already
Yeah.
using our air conditioners. We can't throw them in.
I mean, it's a good time to get back on the lathe. Yeah, you gotta, as far as, yeah. The B said, you know, a lot of your work is art and you get compliments on it, but you feel like you can never sell it because of the imperfection, like gaps, and you're not proud of. It's all a balance, you know? Just getting the mail. Huh, that's funny. I didn't order a dumpster. Huh. So, I guess Granger really, really wants me to buy stuff from them. Well, I'm getting two catalogs, and they're the same.
And it's the same address?
Yeah. So I'm looking here, and yeah, so what happened was they didn't send me two. These are the same magazine. So for some reason at the bindery, they sent two. But yeah, they're the same address. Huh. Yep. So yeah, so one of them got remade and they put two of them in the same bundle. And the post office doesn't care. It's a bulk rate. They'll deliver whatever. If that magazine was cut in half and it had an address on it, they would deliver it. All right. Let me sneeze. Then we can get to work. Yeah. So, yeah, hopefully if I come in tomorrow, I'm going to be cutting out segments on the CNC machine. All right, we got some walnut here. I don't remember if we changed the blade out or not, but we'll find. We'll find out real quick. So yeah, that blade needs replacing. So this is a reverse tooth blade, so I got to make sure I put it in the right direction. What is the best blade? It all depends on what you're cutting. Since I am cutting some basic kind of smooth crescent shapes, not a lot of detail, and we're cutting 5/8 inch thick material, I am using a number 7 blade. A number 5 blade would also work just fine. For this, this blade here is a precision ground tooth blade. It's a double skip tooth blade. So it's an aggressive blade. It clears material quickly. So depending on the thickness of the wood, how much detail you have, there's a lot of factors involved. I have a video just about blades and the different types, and it's kind of crazy. Yeah, so the segmented bowls I'm making are going to be yarn bowls, and with a yarn bowl, you want it to be heavy and thick. So I can show you the prototype. It's a little bit small, but so you can see just, come on, focus. There you go, number 1. But yeah, she's heavy. So I decided I'm going bigger. I did not cut the jade channel in there yet, but yeah, just lots of playing. So when I cut out the segments, you know, rather than cutting out trapezoids, I'm cutting out crescents. So you know, that's the shape I was cutting out. So when you go on the lathe, you're not taking off a ton of material. And the main reason for that is I've got a You're more interested in my pennies? Yeah, I hear you. Huh, that one wasn't drilled. There's no hole in it. I gotta yell at who didn't drill that hole. Scott, what are you doing? I don't know. Missed a hole. Oh, so I am trying out a new light here. So it's a 16-inch ring light. Stand's not bad. It's got a remote control with it. It's actually not too bad. So, anything with a remote control, it's got to be better. So that was my big purchase yesterday. It was $8 at the thrift store. It was still in the box. It was used, but it was in the box. So I'm all ready to do my makeup tutorials. Yeah. Somebody didn't get famous on TikTok. They tried. They probably made 3 videos. Kind of like pawn shops or where you go get guitars to somebody's broken dreams. So more than likely, that light will end up in the basement, in the creepy basement, because the lighting down there sucks. Should probably do a stream down there one of these days. We got another scroll saw set up down there. Yes. The creepy basement. The worst part is, I felt like I've been watched down there a few times, but the only thing I've ever seen was up here. I'm not afraid to cut my fingers. Nope. I usually cut myself once or twice a year. So it's not a bandsaw. It's not going to put me, in the hospital for stitches or anything. This causes Band-Aid injuries. It's definitely the Band-Aid machine. Hello, France. I like Googa better. Just about done with the walnut here. We got 3 more of these little ones. Then we have some gorgeous curly maple. This quilted stuff. Yeah, these saws do a really good job. Reminds you of olive wood. Yep. A little less yellow tones. Yep, so my issue with the exotic woods go, when you start getting into the curly maples and the bird's eye maples and that kind of thing, they have to be densely packed because everything I make is so small. You know, if I was making a big tabletop, it wouldn't matter if the bird's eyes. So those are bird's eyes. So this piece are scattered pretty far apart. So these will probably be sold just as maple rather than bird's eye. But yeah, everything has to be pretty densely packed, otherwise you're not going to see it. Yeah, the mill that I go to, they never had olive wood. It's not something they have. I think my best bet if I wanted a chunk of olive wood would be to like go get a olive wood cutting board and cut that down. I mean, that mill I go to has a lot of exotic woods, but olive's not one of them. And neither is Coco Bolo. For some reason, I haven't seen Coco Bolo in quite a while. So they started getting Bolivian rosewood and Caribbean rosewood. I'd rather have Coco Bolo. Prettier. I have a hunch the The reason why we don't have a lot of different species of exotic woods right now is because of the insane tariff situation that the United States has gone through. It's a lot cheaper just not to ship it here than to deal with the tariffs. Every time you walk into Lee Valley, you see beautiful slabs of olive wood. That's in the wood burning section, and I'm always tempted to buy it. Yeah, it'd be something to play with. Yeah, we don't have Lee Valley around here. We have Woodcraft, and then a little bit further away if I want. So Woodcraft is in Appleton, so it's north of me in Wisconsin. And then there's a Rockler, but it's in Milwaukee. So it's a little bit further drive, and you know, it's basically the same stuff. Different brand names, but same stuff. And I had a bad experience at Rockler's, so I don't go there. So yeah, so Rockler, I was getting a bunch of bunch of turning tools. Hey, see, welcome in. And so they had them on pegs, and on the pegs they had a little clip. Well, the little clip would just pull off, so I thought, oh, they just put this little clip on here just so that they stay on the peg so they don't fall off. Well, apparently that was an anti-theft device. Not a very good one. So the employee came up and just started reaming me a new ass. I'm like, what's going on? You know, it's like, oh, I'm sorry. You know, I do plan on buying these. Well, you're not supposed to. How are you even doing that? I'm like, I just touch it and it falls off. I'm like, I wasn't even aware it was a security device. And he just rumbling at me. I'm like, I handed him, I had like $500 worth of tools. I handed it to him. I'm like, why don't you just put those up by the register and babysit those, and when I'm ready to check out, I will. You don't understand a damn thing? That's all right. I'm just babbling. Now, I did buy them. I've never been back. Well, if I didn't buy them, then he'd be like, he was going to shoplift. What a dick. I think that's the end of the maple. No, the end of the walnut. I've got one mini that I don't have the hole drilled for. Now, I think there's Lee Valleys on the East Coast. I could be wrong. I've heard of them. So, I think. Do you have the brand named? Is it Record Power? Is that Canadian? I don't know. So this type of saw has Canadian roots. Yeah, so these were originally designed by Excalibur. Which were also made in Canada. I would assume by the Mackenzie brothers. I'm just guessing, but everything in the Great White North is either the Mackenzie brothers or Brent Butt, one or the other. That guy just made a Strange Brew reference. It's crazy. Oh, and I'm so glad that Rick Moranis came back for Spaceballs 2. Strange Brew was a movie about the Mackenzie brothers, which was Rick Moranis and was it Dave Thomas? Not the founder of Wendy's, but I could be wrong. But yeah, it was an SCTV sketch that got turned into a movie, kind of like the Blues Brothers or that kind of thing. All right. Or Wayne's World, that kind of thing. You always have a weird interaction at home improvement stores because I look feminine. You know, what are you doing, little lady? You just have to do the Ron Swanson and just be like, I know more than you, and just keep going. I'll put earbuds in just so I can ignore people. Yeah, this wood is pretty. Yeah, once this is sanded, yeah, that's gonna pop. It's going to be very pretty. All right, guys. We have what's called Bunnings, which is a big hardware store, improvement store. If you're not an Aussie, you don't make a weekly. If you're not an Aussie, if you don't make a weekly weekend visit to it, just traditional sausages. We need more hardware stores, home improvement stores that sell sausages. I'm gonna cut out one more, and then I'm gonna have to call it a stream. I'm gonna have to eat. Okay, so yeah. So it's like a cookout type thing. Yeah. We used to have a gas station here that would have brat fries, hamburgers, brats, hot dogs, that kind of thing. Yeah, it's gonna definitely be a nap. And the deal was, it was for nonprofits, and they gave them access to everything. The only thing was they had to buy the meat and the buns from the gas station. They had their own meat market in there, so it was kind of a win-win for everybody. So around here, every once in a while, there'll be a brat fry, like at a grocery store, but it's not the same. Yeah, I think it's going to be a definite nap. Oh. I don't remember eating any lettuce that's going to try to kill me, but... Well, we're at the workshop. The cats are at home, so... Yep, have a good one. Yeah, the couch at the workshop is much more comfortable than the couch at home. Yep, hopefully I'll see you guys. Maybe I'll be here this weekend. If not, I'll definitely live stream to Monday morning. So, all right, have a great day. Remember, be nice to people. It's not that hard.